Watchers by Dean Koontz.
Dean Koontz was born on July 9, 1945 in Everett, Pennsylvania, and was regularly beaten and abused by his alcoholic father, which later influenced his writings. He won the fiction competition while at Shippensburg University of Pennsylvania. After graduation, he worked as an English teacher and then at the Appalachian Poverty Program that was to help poor children. However, he got frustrated because he didn't have the money to really get the kids what they needed. Dean's wife, Gerda, offered to support them for 5 years so Dean could write, and the plan worked. He has written over 125 books, is published in 38 languages, and has sold over 450 million copies, and is still writing. He won the Hugo Award and the World Fantasy Award, to name a few. Dean Koontz now lives in Southern California with his wife, Gerda, their golden retriever, Anna, and the memory of their golden retriever, Trixie. The main character of Watchers, Travis Cornell, is in his early 30s, is ex-Delta Force, and now sells real estate. He is a likable, successful guy, but is depressed at the beginning and wants to change that. He respects others and helps wherever he can. Travis goes from taking Oreos and Kool-Aid to shoot snakes up in the mountains as he did as a kid to bring himself out of his depression, to saving a young woman from more abuse and a retriever from death. Though through these events of the story, Travis is again the confident man he used to be and lives life to the fullest with everyone around him. Other important characters include Nora, the Outsider, Einstein, Garrison Dilworth Hyatt, Vince Naskow, Art Streck, and Dr. James Keene. On his birthday, Travis plans to hike through the San Antonio Canyon. He takes Oreos, orange Kool-Aid, and his handgun to shoot rattlesnakes like he did as a kid, but meets Einstein, who blocks the deer trail and protects Travis without his knowledge. Later at his house, the dog shows signs of abstract thinking and human-like intelligence. Travis names the retriever Einstein for the obvious reason. All at the same time, Vince Naskow has been murdering doctors from the Bendenine lab, and feels like he is absorbing their essence and coming closer to immortality. Einstein and the Outsider also escaped from Bendenine lab through a fire. The Outsider has a sixth sense connected with Einstein, and is tracking him in this way. Travis and Einstein meet and save Nora from Art Streck. Nora's aunt, who raised her, convinced Nora that she was stupid and unattractive, but as she becomes friends with Einstein and Travis, she realizes she is smart, attractive, and a really good artist. Travis and Nora later get married in Las Vegas, but the Outsider is still coming, and they need time to prepare. A great helper is their dead aunt's attorney, Garrison Dilworth Hyatt, who loans them money, a car, and an information system. They fly to Carmel, California, and buy a secluded home to prepare their property for battle. Nora and Travis are now expecting a baby, and she goes to regular doctor's appointments. But one day, Vince Naskow is waiting for them in their car, wanting to capture Einstein. She drives them back to their house, but Travis manages to kill this deadly assassin. Unfortunately, the Outsider has arrived, but they are prepared. The battle takes place on the second floor of their house. Einstein nearly loses his life, but the life of the Outsider ends in their barn. The Outsider was so jealous of Einstein that this event was bound to happen. After all the destruction at their home, the family moves further up the Big Sur and begin a normal life with a new baby and puppies. The story takes place in contemporary time in several places, with Santa Barbara, California, and the Carmel coast of California as the two main places. Santa Barbara is a busy city in a mountainous area. Travis grew up here and still lives here. The story kicks off where Travis meets Einstein. Later, the setting moves to Carmel, California. It is a busy coastal city. The setting has to change in order for Travis, Nora, and Einstein to put time and miles between them and the Outsider so that they can get ready for his arrival. A couple of the main conflicts is Travis's internal conflict, where he feels that he is nothing more than a jinx. Everyone he cares about eventually dies. His Delta Force squadron died, all except for him, and his wife died from cancer shortly after his marriage. An external conflict would be the one between Travis, Nora, and Einstein versus the outsider, where they have to fight in order to survive. Even though the house is rigged with traps, the outsider still breaks through and nearly kills Einstein and Nora, but Travis eventually ends this nightmare. The main climax of the book takes place near the end, when Travis, Nora, and Einstein battle for their lives against the outsider. Even though the outsider breaks through the barriers, Travis decides to fight against him and kills him in the barn. If they had chosen flight instead of fight, they would have died anyways, and many other innocent people would have been killed in the process. The significance of the title, Watchers, is best explained through this quote. She watched over them and they watched over her, guardians of each other. In other words, they protect each other from anything that might harm one another. Compared to other literature studies that we have done, Watchers is similar in the fact that it takes place in the United States, and it is very adventurous, like Huckleberry Finn, only a little bit more dangerous.
Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to learn more, you're going to have to open the book yourself.